Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, depending on where you are and when you are listening to this podcast. Welcome to Enthusiastic Life. I am your host, Brendan Walsh, and I am so glad that you are here joining us for another episode of our podcast. This week's episode features my friend, Kelly Burris, founder of Burris Law. She specializes in intellectual property law here in Detroit. And Kelly is an avid pilot, and her background is in aeronautical engineering, with where she studied at did her undergrad at Western Michigan, a grad degree. Anyway, she's really smart and she's really talented and she's super cool. And I think you're really going to enjoy the conversation. My dad was a pilot, so this episode meant a lot to me because I love talking flying with people and with pilots. But as a hockey fan and a bit of a crazy hockey person, I was particularly excited to talk to Kelly about her experience with Western Michigan University winning the NCAA championship and her opportunity of being on the ice, which was a pretty cool story. Kelly's an awesome person and a great storyteller, and I think you're really going to enjoy this. So please enjoy this episode with Kelly Burris. Kelly Burris, welcome to the Enthusiastic Life podcast.
Thank you, Brendan. It's exciting to be here with you and your excitement. Because you're an exciting guy.
I am enthusiastic one, yes.
Yeah.
I was, when we were considering names, it was either Enthusiastic Life or Conversations with a Golden Retriever puppy, because it's very similar.
Aww. No puppies in here, I see.
No, we do
Although
not.
enthusiastic has a lot of syllables, though.
It's true.
Enthused? No.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the lawyer learning the words.
So, do you mind introducing yourself to our myriad listeners?
Yeah. So, my name's Kelly Burris. I am the owner and founder of Burris Law. Here in Detroit, we practice intellectual property law, primarily patents, I would say, working with inventors, large Fortune 500 companies down to individual inventors, protecting their innovations. I've been at this career in IP law for about 25 years. Previously, I was at a couple of large firms, one here in Michigan, one out of Chicago, and prior to that, I was an aerospace engineer with McDonnell Douglas and Boeing. So kind of my second career. Who knows what's next? We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I always like to talk about origin stories. So do you remember how we met initially?
We met at the DAC.
We did. The famed Detroit Athletic Club. It comes up in a lot of these conversations.
Yes, and you'll have to refresh my memory a little bit more. Maybe it had something to do with athletics, do you think?
I think it was when you were running for the board.
Oh, was it? When I was down shaking hands and kissing babies?
Yeah, doing
my first ever contested election.
Yeah, all of the gland handling and above. I think that's where we met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd seen you around because you're around the DAC quite a bit.
I am.
Yeah.
And I'm hard to miss because I'm tall.
Yes, you are. How tall are you?
About 6'6".
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know that'll change when you get older.
That's right.
I went for a physical, and that lady measured me, and she's like, "Well, you're 5'9.5". I'm like, "No, I'm 5'10.5". She's like, "Not anymore. You're not."
Yeah, I have to enjoy it while I can. Yeah. I'm either a walking, talking signpost for people to find, or a sight gag. So, so tell me. So you've been in patent law, but tell me about. I think one of the things that I love following you most about online is you're flying as a pilot. Yeah. Since my dad was a pilot, I know the joy of that. So tell me, how did you become a pilot? How did that come about?
Yeah, well, I think it started when I was a kid growing up. We were always going to air shows. My father was in the Navy, and he was an air traffic controller. And we would build models, and we'd watch. I'm going to age myself right now, but we'd watch Baa Baa Black Sheep. You probably don't. Yeah, Robert Conrad, Black and White. So it was about the F-4U Corsair in World War II, a squadron, an actual squadron of F-4U Corsairs. That's got the wing that kicks down and goes up. Yep. Very easy to spot. So we'd watch all kinds of war movies, and I was really into World War II and those fighter planes. I really enjoyed the rumble of that engine. I don't know why, but I did. And my mom and dad both were really big, air show. I would say my mom was a little more of the engineer type, like she had more of that engineer approach to things, where my dad was more of a, just kind of a hardcore go at it, like it's no doubt he was from Detroit. Grew up in Highland Park, but a great dad, because we did stuff together all the time. We We played ball, basketball, baseball, shag fly balls, built models, worked on engines. I just loved hanging out with him. So let's see. When I was in high school trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my career, because both my parents pushed me really hard to go to college. They're like, you're going to college. You don't have to, but you probably should. You'll have a really good life if you go to college. So, and I played a lot of sports, so they knew I was going to get a scholarship somewhere. So I won't forget it. I was watching TV, and it was the launch of the space shuttle, and there was this woman that walked across the stage, and she was in an astronaut suit with a helmet, and I was like, oh, wow, there's a chick doing that. That's cool. With Sally Ride.
Yeah.
So I saw Sally Ride, and I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to be an astronaut.
So cool.
So the path to becoming I looked at a few paths, but back then, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have the connections that we have. So I didn't have a lot of people in my universe who could say, oh, here's who you should talk to. Go to NASA. Go talk to your senator. So I thought, okay, and I learned aerospace engineering. That was the way to go. So I set off to study aerospace engineering to become an astronaut. And there were many different diversions along the way to try to get to NASA to become an astronaut. But while I was studying at Western Michigan University, Western Michigan's a little bit different of a university because it's they call it now experiential learning, but it's really, they give you a lot of hands-on. They give you a lot of like internships and on-the-job training. And I was at the airport a lot. I was around engineers who were designing different components of aircraft and testing them and going out to the shop floor. And being around the airplanes, I'm like, how can I design these without flying them? So I started to take flying lessons, and I totally fell in love. I was like, oh, this is it. Because when you take off, when you take off in an airplane, it's like you just leave so much behind.
Yeah, particularly small craft, particularly.
Yeah. I mean, you're just like, okay, I can't, be on the phone or on it's everything's behind, all the yard work you have to do, right. It's like you have to focus, and you're up there, and it's just you in the sky, or you and some other folks on the airplane. You probably had that experience with your father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you went up?
Honestly, we flew so much, I don't remember the first time because I was probably an infant.
Okay.
I mean, he had been flying forever.
Yeah.
So it was, so fortunate that was part of my life, right? That being able to fly and fly with him and to take us places. But, being in the front with him, being able to wear the headset.
Talk on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah.
At first, you're like, oh, my gosh, what are they saying?
Yeah, and then you start
I'm never going to learn how to do that.
Yeah, they learn the language, and then, that moment of takeoff and being up there and 360-degree views.
Yeah, as soon as you take off, you're just like, we're good. I'm good.
So, flying, aeronautical engineering.
Mm-hmm.
So, when did you find out you weren't going to be an astronaut?
I don't think I've found that out yet.
So still good.
I'm probably going to go into space. I'll probably have to pay some money to do it now.
For real? Do you want to go to space?
Oh, heck yeah! Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, I totally want to go to space. I think, no, I haven't given up on that.
I love it.
Yeah. No, in fact, at one point, shortly after I joined McDonnell Douglas, I was hanging out, of course, on the flight line with the test pilots and A-8B Harrier, F-18 Hornet, F-15 Eagle. I was just like, oh, this is so great. My boss is like, hey, you coming to the meeting? Like, yep, on my way. So because I just wanted to hang out on the airplanes.
So you could do that as an aeronautical engineer where you're working?
Yes, because the factory was right there. It was in St. Louis. Okay. Where all the fighter aircraft were built. So one of the test pilots said to me, like, if you really want to be an astronaut, he's like, you should probably go join the Navy and go to test pilot school, because look at all the shuttle commanders that we've had to date. Look at them. And he showed me, boom, boom, boom. They're all former naval aviators. Right. And I thought, that's a really good idea. And that same day he told me that, I went upstairs to use the women's restroom out on the flight test hangar. And I walk in, and there's a woman putting on a flight suit. And I was like, oh, hi. I'm Kelly. And she's like, hi. She was super nice. She was a first officer, a naval, but she was in the Navy. And I was like, you're not going to believe this, but do you have a minute? And she's like, well, I got some time. Yeah. So we got to know Trish Beckman was her name. And I got to talk to her about joining the Navy and being an astronaut. And she gave me a little dose of reality. Like, hey, kiddo, look, if you graduate top of your class at AOCS and you want to fly F-18s, they don't need F-18 pilots at that time, but they need C-130 pilots flying out of Alaska. That's where you're going.
Right.
You have to get used to the idea that you have no control over your life, none whatsoever. You do what someone tells you to do for the next 8 years. I'm like, oh, I got this. So I actually went to see a recruiter. I went up in his T-34 too many times because he's like, you need to make up your mind. I can't keep flying you around. I'm like, come on, just one more. We only went inverted for like 20 seconds. And he's like, you're going to love it. Just sign up. So I did. I signed up. And I went home and told my mom and dad. So here's their daughter who graduated with an aerospace engineering degree. Good white-collar job, right? We don't have to worry about her. She's good.
Right.
We got to worry about these other two. And I came home and went, I'm joining the Navy.
And what did they say? Some
choice words came out of my dad's mouth, which I won't say on camera. And my mother...
You can always put the explicit tag on it if you really...
it was not good. And my mother teared up. She teared. My mom is the best. She's just like, honey, that's what you want to do. We support you. She's like crying, like, oh my gosh, my daughter's going to get killed. And like, this is not a place for her. And my dad's like, you're crazy. He's like, this is not a place for women. I'm like, what are you talking about, Dad? Like, it's going to be a place for women because women like me are going there. And we're going to show the guys we can do this, just like they can do it. And he's like, I'm like, you were enlisted, Dad. You weren't an officer. It's different. He's like, it will not be different. Guaranteed. It will not. So, long story short, that was right about the time that tailhook scandal came out, the Navy, which was really nasty, and they postponed our start date and made me really think about whether this was a good choice or not. So I just stayed at the company. But that was actually a good move on my part because I told the company I was leaving. They're like, oh, no, you can't leave. And they sent me out to the USS Carl Vinson off of the coast of California in the Pacific for a few days to experience carrier sea trial.
How was that?
Oh, it was amazing.
I mean, that's like Top Gun stuff.
Yeah, well, it was F-18s, S-3 Vikings, and they were doing night qualifications for the pilots. And there were women out there, too, and I was like, this is so cool. And we'd go up on the deck at night, and they're just shooting them off. We were with a safety officer, so we were under the wing of like an S-3 on one side, and they'd shoot off an F-18. And he's like, go, 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 go. And we'd have to, because they'd shoot them off every 25 seconds, I think. There's one going off. And while that one goes, this one's coming on, you got to go to the other side. Well, they hook that, put the hook down, and they're rolling an F-18 in while you're standing there. So it's just, you're just going back and forth and back and forth. It was so much fun. And it was freezing cold there, but I didn't care. I was just like, this is so much fun. I didn't sleep for 3 days. It was awesome. So we went down, actually one time I remember we went down, and they were taking up 3 guys at a time. So I went in the first group. Second group, there were just 2 guys. And I'm like, can I go again? He's like, you want to go up again? I'm like, yeah, I want to go up again. Go up all night long. Yeah. So that was really exciting. But we were supporting our products out there. So they would send engineers to the field, wherever that might be, in this case, an aircraft carrier, and learn how our products are used, learn what they like, learn what they don't like, come back and be a better engineer. That was the idea.
So cool.
I was like, oh, this is cool. Maybe I don't want to go.
Right? Yeah, you get to play around with fighter jets all the time.
I got a little more money and some promotions. I'm like, okay, I'll stick around.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how do you go from aeronautical engineering?
Yeah.
And those are the titans of the industry, right? I mean, they're big. They're like the big players in the space, or they are big players. Yeah. How do you go from that to starting your own firm? Well, going back to law school.
Yeah, law school is that's kind of an easy, not easy story, but I used to work out at the gym early in the morning back then because we had to be at the office at 7 for the meetings and talking with the test engineers and blah blah blah. So I would go in I'd get up at 3:30. I was usually at the gym 4:30. Turns out that's when all the executive team worked out at the company. So I befriended our chief financial officer, and I was actually getting a patent with the company, working with a patent attorney. So I kind of knew the process a little bit. And at the time is when Bill Clinton was in office. And if you remember, all those defense cuts were happening, and we were losing programs. We lost the A-12 program. Lost the ATF competition, just laying off a lot of bases were closing. So she's like, you should probably look at a backup career. And I was like, I don't want to be an engineer. This is what I love. She's like, well, look at where the company's going. She's like, when was the last time we designed a new airplane here at the company? A brand spanking new clean sheet airplane, which was the F-15. In case you probably already knew that, though, because you know a lot about flying, right?
Sure.
Anyway, so she said to me, why don't you look at becoming a patent attorney? Because she knew I was going through this process. I'm like, I don't want to be a patent attorney. This guy's I don't want to be like him. She's like, no. Patent attorneys have to technically understand the invention. They have to understand what's going on. And you can't be a patent attorney without a degree and a patent bar registration anyway. She goes, you'll be on the leading edge of technology all the time. You're going to be working in all kinds of industries. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then she said the key words, because I loved flying, but on an engineer's salary. Engineering's fun, but we're not there for the money. We're there because we love it, right? So she's like, you'll make a lot more money. And I was like, ooh, how much more money would I make? So I looked into it and found out how much I could make. And I thought, wow, this is really cool. It's like an hourly job. The more hours you work, the more you make, versus working your tail off as an engineer and getting this fixed salary. And at the end of the year, like, good job. Our pay raises next year from 2 to 4%, and you get a 4% raise. I'm like, okay, great, thanks. 4% of nothing, still nothing. So I thought, this is not a bad idea, because I would use the skills I have, the technical background, and maybe I'll even be a better patent attorney, knowing what I know, having walked in the engineer's shoes versus being fresh out of undergrad and law school and not knowing anything about the engineering world. So, but I wasn't really convinced. I went to law school at night. So I went to St. Louis University at night. In fact, my first year of law school, I was finishing a master's at Washington University. So I was working full time, finishing a master's in material science, and going to law school. So that year was a blur.
That's a lot.
That was crazy. I'm like, I don't want to do that again. But so I literally went to law school to make more money so I could buy an airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I did my second year as an associate at this law firm. I worked a lot. I come from a hardworking family. It's a Polish and Russian immigrants. We're not afraid of working hard. And I paid cash for my first airplane.
Wow.
Which was a 1962 Beechcraft Debonair.
There you go.
Awesome airplane.
So it all goes back to flying.
Oh, yeah.
It all goes back to flying.
It all does, yeah.
So after working with law firms, what prompted you to start your own firm and go out on your own? And how did you end up in Detroit?
Well, the law firm, I worked, when I was in St. Louis, I started working for a firm that's based in Michigan. I'm from Detroit. I'm not from Detroit. I was born in Warren. My dad was in Highland Park. I grew up in Berkeley when I was younger, so I knew the city pretty well. Let's see. So the law firm I worked at had their main office was here, and they were coaxing me to come back home. Come on back home. We want you to come join us. We'll help you grow your business, blah, blah, blah. And so I did. I came back home, and then shortly after that joined a firm out of Chicago, because it was it just wasn't working out with this other firm. Really good firm, great attorneys. Really learned a lot from these guys, just culturally it wasn't a good fit. So I joined this firm out of Chicago, and they were great. I loved it. I worked out of the Ann Arbor office. Great. They did litigation and the patent prosecution work that we do. But it was getting to the point after a few years of, like, the decisions that were being made were strictly and totally financial and didn't take the employees into consideration. I thought, this is my opinion, right? I'm sure there was some consideration, but just really harsh decisions, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And actually, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office announced in 2011 they were going to open their first ever satellite office in Detroit, Michigan, which is in the building we're in right now. And so I was in Ann Arbor, and another partner that I worked with, she's like, hey, and I'm like, I know, I saw that too. We should open an office down there. She's like, I know, I was thinking the same thing. Let's go. So she and I went to the board of directors in Chicago and said, hey, we should open another office. And we talked them into opening the office, and I was the managing partner of that office. And things were going okay for the firm, but after a few years, they were like, we think it'd be better if we consolidated and go back to Ann Arbor. And I'm like, at that time, I just fallen in love with the city. 2013 was bankruptcy. Yeah. And it wasn't great around here. But to be in this city and to get to know the business owners, the residents, the school systems, and just to see how gritty everybody was. I was like, this is where I want to be. I want to be in Detroit.
Yeah.
So when they wanted to move out, I was like, I'm going to stay. But, thanks. I'm staying here.
Yeah. That was around the time that we moved back, was 2012.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it. The longer I'm here, the more I love it. It's just
So your firm is coming up on
10 years.
10 years.
In February. February 1st of 2026 will be 10 years for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's like, really? Did that actually happen? Did we stay in business for 10 years after all? Because COVID happened.
Oh, yeah.
And COVID was horrible because our business is really built on, hey, client, no matter where you are, we're going to hop in the plane and we're going to come see you. We're going to check out what you've got at your factory and your lab. I go to St. Louis a lot. I go to Texas. I go to Florida. I go to California quite a bit, Oregon. And COVID, guess we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't visit them because they were all shut down. And then we had clients letting us know, big clients, saying, hey, stop doing what you're doing. I was like, oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
But we did a few. We were doing okay. I had some money in the bank, and one client in particular, pretty big one, they wanted us to stop. And so I had a conversation with their chief IP counsel, and I said, how about this? Let me make you this offer. Why don't we just keep going? We'll keep working on your patent applications and all the ones that are in the mill. And if in 3 months, 6 months, whatever, you decide you want to continue with it, I'll send you the bill at that point. If you decide you don't want to work on it, it's my loss, right? And he's like, you would do that? I'm like, yeah, I would do that. I go, I don't want to scare my employees. I want them to keep working. I don't want to get rusty. I don't want to lay people off. We didn't let anybody go. Like, I just want to keep going. So he was like, wow, that's really cool. So we did it. And then like a month later, he's like, okay, we're good. Keep going.
Yeah.
So, and then we had another client who's pretty big, and they were making heaters for ventilators. So their business was booming.
Yeah.
They had extra money in the bank. So we lucked out in that respect. But, getting through COVID and getting through this culture change of, because we're a small firm, we're a tight-knit group. We like each other. We like being around each other. But when you don't have people coming into an office, it's really hard to build a culture or maintain a culture.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? That was, I think COVID still changed us forever. Like, we're, trying to get it back. We've got an office in St. Louis we're getting ready to open up. That's going to help out quite a bit. And I think the more people come back, the more they realize, oh, this is a cool place. And, our office it's a cool office. We have all Detroit artists on our walls, from the old Cass Corridor guys, like Brenda Goodman and Michael Lukes, to some of the up-and-coming new artists.
That's neat.
Like Sango Reed. And it's just, and when you walk in, you're like, oh, wow, this is cool. So you should come into the office. I don't make people come in, but I want them to decide to come in.
Yeah. So 10 years in.
Yeah.
What are some of what have you learned as a business owner
What
for
have
10
I learned?
years? Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I've learned...
What word of advice might you give to someone who's looking to start their own business?
Yeah, well, the first, practically, you really should hire an accountant or get the finance stuff. Plan for it ahead of time, do your business plan, but get someone in right away, because you need to know, do your P&L every month, look at your cash flow statements. It's like going to the doctor's office or going to the gym. You really have to know how you're doing.
Yeah.
I didn't start doing that until 6 months in. I think we're doing okay, but I have no idea. So hiring an accountant was great because it gets everything in order. I made the mistake of trusting people no matter what, and you will get some bad eggs.
Yeah.
And it's disheartening. It really is, but it'll happen. And you just have to be careful and make sure you put the right safety nets in place to cover yourself. I didn't want agreements. People sign here's an offer letter and sign. I don't need that. We'll just pay them salary, be good. So got burned on that.
Yeah.
We still don't have a vacation leave for employees. It's just get your work done. If you need to take some time off, I don't care. Just get your work done. So I have 2 rules at my firm. Get your work done and be nice. That's it. That's all you have to do. And over the last 10 years, I've had several people that could not do both of those things. That's it.
It's a pretty simple office culture to create.
Yeah. So I've learned, it's horrible, I've learned not to trust people so much. I mean, I do, but like my antennas are up a lot
Trust
more.
but verify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to protect the clients and this information they're giving us that's confidential, that, may not ever come out if it's trade secret type project information. And it's shocking what people do. It's shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something you mentioned earlier that I want to go back to.
Yeah.
You did your undergrad at Western Michigan University.
I did.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos, yes, go Broncos.
And you are on the board.
I am.
And were you at the NCAA championship just this last year? The first.
Do you remember where it was?
No, I forgot where it was.
St. Louis.
It was in St. Louis.
It was in St. Louis, which
Yeah.
is where I spent 20 years of my life as an engineer in law school, and so it was really cool.
So you were there.
It was in my hometown,
Yeah.
my second hometown, if you will. So they were going down, and like, hey, I could talk forever on this, because I ran into Dave Dombrowski was there. He's a Western grad. I didn't know that. There's a funny story about that when I ran into him in the hallways, because I'm like, hey, you bum. Took all our players and you left. And he's like, who are you? And I'm like, Detroit Tigers fan.
And we hold grudges.
And then he shows up in the suite.
Oh, the Western.
I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, what are you doing here? Nicest guy, by the way. So down to earth, so cool. So anyway, they offered tickets to the trustees to go to the game. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm going. And I'm flying down there, by the way. Who wants to come with me?
Yeah.
So I went down for the weekend. Was in I think it was Friday night, or Saturday. Anyway, the night before, I saw the semifinals and the finals. We were there, and it was just cool because I had my old Western, hockey jersey on, and my dad's a big hockey fan, and I played hockey growing up all the way up to high school, which is about as far as you could go back then.
Yeah.
It was just cool being there. And then towards the very end of the third period, we were up. I think we were up like 6-2. We just kept scoring, and our athletic director, Dan Bartholomew, who is incredible, by the way. This guy's worked wonders with our athletic department and the academics of our students as well. So we're up there, and he goes, come on, let's go. And he's got a handful of badges in his hand. And I'm like, Dan, the game's not over. What are you talking about? He's like, no, we're going down on the ice right now. Go. And I'm like, oh, no. You should take, because you're, the Stryker families up there, who gave the $550 million, Empowering Futures gift to Western. Like, I know they should go, not me. And he's like, come on, let's go now. We don't have time. And so I had a few people. I'm like, okay, fine, I'm going. So I go down. I have no idea what we're doing. So we're in the tunnel. And it was, I'm going to guess, like 10 seconds left. And all of a sudden the horn goes off, and I just look out and I see sticks flying and helmets flying and gloves flying. And they just shoved us out on the ice. So here I am in my cowboy boots, because I'm like, I'm a Bronco, I'm going to wear my cowboy boots.
Yeah.
And I'm out on the ice and watching these young men, just the joy.
Yeah.
I was just tearing up watching them. I'm like, I'm so happy for you guys. They were so happy. And this is like a team with no NIL money whatsoever, zero NIL. And they're just a very mentally strong team. They're very tightly bonded. In fact, Coach Pat's coming to Beavers luncheon this fall. So Coach Pat, our AD, Dan Bartholomew, and we have a new president, Russ Cavalluna. You might know Russ. He plays basketball, the DAC.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, he's the new president at Western. And so we've got all kinds of like crazy good energy going on right now. So, but being on the ice was a pinch me moment. And just watching all the Lawson lunatics, they call them, because the Lawson Arena is where the Broncos play. They were all pounding on the glass, and the players were up there, like, we love you. And they were just like hugging through the glass. And the players were cutting pieces of the net out, and they put it under their hats, and they were skating around. And the AD comes over and he goes, hey, you should go get a piece of the net. And I'm like, no, let's let the guys have. And he's like, no, they're done. That's all that's left. Go before it's all gone. Go get some. I'm like, okay. So I got a few pieces of the net. Gave one to my dad. He was super excited about it. But being down there and just seeing it was like a home game, really, because the fans that were there from the other teams, like North Dakota, Minnesota, they were all rooting for the Broncos. And, this is like Division I. Frozen Four.
And
hockey
against
championship.
Denver, right?
Yeah, it was Boston in the final. I think
okay.
Denver was the night before.
Right,
Or 2
on
nights
Thursday.
before. Yeah. And that was a tough game. That went into overtime.
Yeah.
We'd gone into overtime with them earlier in the season. So, and they tried to play rough against us, and Boston did anyway. And the guys were like, yeah, whatever, have a good day. You look beautiful, your smile's beautiful. And they're like, they just really riled them up. So they got inside their heads. But it was so cool. It was so good for the university. And I think they're still riding pretty high on that wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
What a cool thing.
I know, right?
To be on the ice and feel that energy.
Yeah.
Right?
I still feel like I didn't deserve to be there. But it was cool being there. And I'm like, okay, I went to school here. I played sports here. I'm on the board. Okay. I did draw the line at they were offering rings. You could get a championship ring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want a ring. I'm like, I didn't play in that team. But you'd be surprised some of the folks who would want them. I'm like,
yeah.
No, thank you. Thank you for the offer, but I don't. I didn't earn that ring, so I don't want it.
So one thing I always like to ask as we approach the end of our time, what is something right now that's bringing you joy?
I have a lot of things in my life that bring me joy. I really do. I have a couple of dogs, and they always bring me joy every day.
What kind of dogs do you
They're
have?
rescue dogs. JD's a boxer mix, and Jolene is, I don't know what she is, maybe like a Jack Russell pit mix or something. I just love these dogs, and they're like really good together. So my family, my mom and dad are still healthy. My dad's 85, he'll be 85 next month. My mom's 83. I just have a good, like a lot of the folks I work with, my clients, are my friends. Or we've developed a friendship over the years. So that's very rewarding for me to have those relationships. And we're at the point now at the firm where I've got some senior level partners who I think are going to be ready to become equity partners in the firm. And so I can kind of see, the light at the end of the tunnel for me for this business I've built, because it's just me that owns the firm with, I don't know, 12 attorneys and agents and another, 9 or 10 employees, back office, paralegals. And we're doing really well. And I think bringing those partners on is going to be like, yes, okay, cool, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it. And, maybe a bigger airplane, we'll see. I don't know, but.
Okay, so one last question then, because I want to bring it back to flying, because it all goes back to flying.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite plane to fly and why, and your favorite place to fly?
Oh, gosh. I love every airplane I fly. I've flown some pretty cool airplanes over the years, but my favorite airplane to fly by far is one I have right now, the TBM. It's fast, it's capable, it flies at 31,000 feet. I can get up over thunderstorms. I can land and take off and land at a very short runway. It's pressurized. It's like a little mini airline. It's like a time machine. I love flying this airplane, and the avionics are awesome. It's got an auto land system, so if something happens to me, the passengers push a button and it lands itself. And it's a rocket ship. I love it. If I were to go, what stick and rudder type airplane, I did get my seaplane rating and a Piper Cub. That was a lot of fun because I grew up on Lake St. Clair. I'm a boater. So flying a seaplane, it's the best of both worlds. The flying and when you're on the water, the docking the airplane and taxiing the airplane. It's very similar to operating a boat. So I think as I get closer to retirement and I don't need a business machine so much, I'll probably go back to a seaplane, like an amphib, or maybe something I can swap out tires with floats. But yeah, the Piper Cub on floats is pretty sweet.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then favorite place, I spent a lot of time flying in the Pacific Northwest, which is really cool because there's all kinds of cool little islands. But honestly, up north Michigan is so beautiful. And we have islands too. And we have so I go to Marquette a lot. Marquette's probably my favorite place to go. It's an hour and 20 minutes away, great restaurants, college town, really good salt to the earth people. And my favorite chocolate shop I mentioned earlier, Donkers. Donkers is awesome.
One last question. If someone might be listening to this and say, I want to fly.
Yeah.
Not only do I want to be like Sally Ride, I want to be like Kelly Burris. Where can someone learn to fly?
Again. Please think again.
Where could someone go if they wanted to learn to fly?
Well, there's a lot of places you could go. The first, depending on where you're at in the state of Michigan or any state, there's a ton of airports to go to, but there's organizations like AOPA, the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association. AOPA.org. You can go there, and they have all kinds of airports and flight instructors and flying clubs. The second one is EAA, which is it's literally the Experimental Aircraft Association. It's where Oshkosh is being held as we speak, over in Wisconsin, the biggest culmination of pilots on the planet. So EAA has really good programs to teach or just tell you where to go to learn, or if your child wants to learn how to fly, they have the Young Eagles program. So they have flight instructors that they work with who are volunteers who go through background checks, who will take your child up on a flight. You get a logbook and a little hat, and it's really cool. And but any airport, like if you have a local airport, I would just pull right in and say, is there an EAA chapter here, or how can I learn to fly? And every airport has instructors, and if they can't find anything, give me a call. I'll help them out.
All right. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you, Brendan. This was fun.
Thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
And that, my friends, was Kelly Burris. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I can't get enough about, maybe it's just me, but I just think Kelly tells great stories. I could listen to her talk all day, and her passion for flying, her passion for inventors, just really resonates with me, and really enjoyed having that conversation with her, and really appreciated her coming in and spending some time here at the office. So thank you all for joining us. If you enjoyed our episode, please consider sharing this with a friend or two. Give us a rating or a comment or a like, depending on where you're listening to this, and share it with a friend. See if they enjoy living an enthusiastic life as well. So thank you again for joining us. Really so grateful for any and all listeners that we have. Have a wonderful morning, day, or night, and we will see you next time.